Good afternoon. I'm Terry Gerke. I wanted to demonstrate how the National Diabetes Prevention Prevent T2 program would work with our secure online portal. I felt as though it may be a little bit easier than the screenshots and description. However, I will also send those to you. Here you see is the National Diabetes Prevention logo that we put on so that there's an ownership with the participants. This would actually be what a participant's dashboard would look like when they logged in. You can see we've got some workshops. So we are in session 1, that core module, week 4 of that week. So I'll be going through some of that. But I want to back up a little bit and give you some general information about the portal. This is the portal that we use for our corporate health and wellness. So we do a lot of online workshops with them. In addition to doing a digital only component where they would be doing all of their content on the portal and messaging their coach, we can also set up the weekly webinars that they would attend. So from the beginning here, I want to show you a few pieces. They are able to log all of their exercise on the portal. So now we're able to completely regulate what their activity for the week is. In addition to that, if you look at this piece here, we have got several pieces and devices that they can actually connect to the portal to make that process easier for them. So we can set that 150 minutes of exercise, or we can translate it into steps. I have downloaded just a few of the applications and devices that are available that are the most common. Fitbit, the iPhone, Precor Wellness, and then Under Armour, which is Map Your Fitness, Map Your Walk, Map Your Ride, and several other devices. We find that that allows people to be able to access what might work for them. Say, for instance, they did not have a Fitbit or a step device, we would encourage them to use Under Armour, which has a phone app, and most people do have the smart app at this particular moment. So it's easy for them to do, and we try to set this up within one of our initial contacts with them. They're simply going to hit connect, and at that point they're going to enter in the information for their device, as well as the information and username for that. So once they have that attached, then when they go to their steps log, they're able to just see their steps on an ongoing basis. From the backside, as a wellness coach, we're also able to see all of the information for their exercise, their nutrition, how many of their workshops they have actually finished. So you can see here, since I downloaded it just now, that there weren't any steps that were attached. However, in January, I also had it downloaded, so you can see that their steps on a weekly basis had already been recorded. If they're using a manual step pedometer, they can simply add in however many steps they log for that day. So if they have one of the less expensive $10 pedometers, they can still participate. The same thing with the exercise. If they go, for instance, to a group fitness class or possibly a step class, say they go to a 10-inch step class and they participate for 30 minutes, that's now entered as well. And in addition to that, it gives them the amount of steps that that's equivalent to. So if we're watching their steps, we're able to look at the translated amount. We find that to be very valuable, that from the beginning, with that first module where we're really talking about exercise, we're able to get that content for them. Same thing with the food log. They will be logging all of their foods on the portal, and they're very easy. Not only do they have a list of common foods, but they also have their favorite foods. So say, for instance, this participant often eats eggs and toast for breakfast. They can save it as a meal. And now we've got a food log entry showing what they had eaten for that day. That would be bread and eggs in one simple item. As a coach, we can also work with them on several other pieces. We have a meal planner that becomes very helpful, and this week in the content that we'll go through in just a second, you can see that they will be able to do a lot of their food entries and their meal planning right on the portal. There's several different meal plans that they can select. I've got this currently listed for 16 to 1800 diabetic. It's a very healthy DASH type of diet. But if in addition to that, or instead of that, they wanted to do a higher or lower calorie, you can see it won't let them go to a huge difference because of the weight that we've got entered. But here are the different diets that they could choose. Gluten-free, heart healthy, low carb, lactose, metabolic, which is another one that we oftentimes encourage people to do, because typically if they're pre-diabetic, they also have other issues with that metabolic syndrome that are going on. So once they have actually done that, now we can guide them to doing their actual meal plan for the week, which, as you may recognize, is one of the hardest things. Is we don't know what we should be eating on an ongoing basis. One of the things that I do like is, say for instance, they said, nope, not into egg substitute, but I will eat egg whites. They can go ahead and adjust that so it's completely personalized for them. Typically, we don't introduce this until at least the third or fourth week. It can be a little more difficult for people to understand, although it truly is just the exchange system. And I'll show you how we can log that in a minute as well. One of the pieces that is nice is they can print their shopping list. Again, it's all branded for them. They can choose the dates that they would like to print the list for. Say they only want to do Monday through Wednesday. They generate their list, and now they're able to go to the grocery store and purchase the items that they would like to purchase for that week. If they were logging their food based on the meal planner, they would have, say for instance, just servings or exchanges that they would be able to do. So say for instance, for their snack, they said, oh, didn't have tangerines today. Instead, I had strawberries, and I had 1 cup of those, and now it's logged. You can see for lunch, it looks as though they're going to have a tuna pita with tomatoes, and then possibly some dressing that is on there. Their afternoon snack, they're going to have celery filled with a nut butter and a raw peach. So we find this to be a very valuable tool. Again, on the coaching side, we can see what they have logged for their actual food. What I think really sets us apart are 2 pieces. Number 1, the content is here. So again, they are in session 1, workshop 1, week 4 of 4. They have tasks that they're to do that week. They have completed their weigh-in. They have logged their exercise, and they have looked at the weekly content. So each week we place that content onto the wellness portal for them. So you can see here is that CDC module 4, Eat Well to Prevent T2. If they like a hard copy to make notes on, they can certainly go ahead and print this out. Otherwise, it is there for them, and if we were doing a webinar, we would actually pull this up during the webinar, just as I am in this recording as well, and go through the content with them. You can see then that most of the modules do have some pieces that they would be interactive in, and they may want to just print that piece, or we would, in our coach messaging, encourage them to discuss issues that they have. So for instance, we would say, what foods did you limit from the sweet food category, and have you allowed yourself anything that may be a better choice? We also, from the coaching aspect, would look at the challenges that are associated with that and address a question such as, what are some of the challenges that you identified and the ways that you think you could cope with them? So that does take us to the digital coaching piece. It is a secure site. They can do this on their phone app, or they can do it on the full portal that you're seeing here. They will simply click on the Talk to Your Coach, And you can see now that they can create messages not only to their health coach, but to their specific health coach. And they also have access to a dietitian that they can, who is with the Cerner Wellness. Cerner is a Fortune 500 company, and we're very comfortable utilizing their portal for our corporate accounts and also for the Prevent T2 Diabetes. It is the portal that's used for the Norton Healthcare employees and also the Kentucky One employees. Wonderful portal that offers a lot of different opportunities for people to engage in the wellness program. So each week this content changes as they have completed their tasks. So you can see here where it's got the your coach. Now we've got that action plan that they will pull up, work through, and again can message their coach with the information that they have. Now you can see they've completed the following workshop, which is the session 1, workshop 2. At that point, the coach would go in and she would actually add the Prevent T2 session 2 workshop. So when you scroll down in this point, then you can click on the workshop. And again, the coach would do this, or sometimes our participants get a little ahead of us and they're doing those. Instantly, the Prevent T2 session 1 workshop 2 is now there, and she has got the content for the following week. Everything from tracking your food, which is the 1 week content that they'll have, down to those messages again about let's get your exercise logged, let's get your weight in, and let's communicate with your coach. There are devices that will upload the weight for the people if they have a smart scale, a Fitbit, a Withings scale, all work. We find that self-report is plenty sufficient for them. If we're just encouraging them to do things such as this week, if your goal is to log water, let's focus on just logging that water, or same thing if we're looking for their fruits and vegetables. In addition to connecting apps and devices, we do have an app that they can use for their phone. On this app, they're able to message us, log their food, check in on their exercise, and check in on their steps. So for the full content, they do need to be on the full site, which they can access from their phone as well, a smartphone. But then for the exercise and food, they have the convenience of the app. I hope this has been helpful for you.